What's going on, party people? Well, good morning. So a lot of people ask me, how do you stop procrastinating, especially when we're talking about studying? It's not an easy thing to do. But I'm gonna give you a tip. One little tidbit. One of the things that's really helped me, sit my ass in the chair, and one of the surgeons I work with used to call it, he didn't use a lot of profanity like I did, so he called it tushy time. You need a lot of tushy time. If you are going to get into med school, get good grades, get a good residency, or even go into nursing school or pharmacy school, whatever you want, you gotta sit down and read a lot. And sitting down and reading a lot is a real pain in the ass, figuratively, not literally. So a lot of people avoid that because there are two main drivers in the human brain. One is avoidance of pain, and the other is acquisition of pleasure. If we can use those two things, and a lot of people talk about this stuff, it's not new, it's not rocket science I'm giving you, but if you are somebody like that is in school, maybe you are not reading these philosophy type of books. This is why I talk about this stuff, because I never read this shit till I was like 38, okay, 39. I wish to somebody would have told me this shit before. If you are having a difficult time sitting down and studying and reading because you're trying to avoid pain, your brain is trying to avoid pain, then you need to find a way to kind of reverse engineer, not so much reverse engineer, but I just said that word because it sounds smart. You want to figure out a way that studying becomes a pleasurable event. The act of studying does not have to be a pleasurable event, but what you get from studying should be a pleasurable event, so that way your brain is trying to move towards that pleasure. One of the things I used to do is I like coffee. So I would get up in the morning and I would get all my shit together and I would go to a coffee shop, and this is a pretty common thing to do. But if you don't have it like in your brain, if you're really not focused on that and understanding how this works in your brain, and then taking that and really focusing on that pleasure component of going to the coffee shop and getting a coffee or whatever that is in what you're doing. It doesn't have to be the coffee shop. It can be like whatever. It can be something else. It could be like when you finish studying for your first hour, you get to like call your friend or hang out with somebody or look at Snapchat or whatever it is, right? So then that is like something that is driving you. The story that I've heard before is that Arnold Schwarzenegger, his father would make him do push-ups before he got to eat. And so this developed Arnold's routine, and his routine was to exercise before he ate every morning, and that was his reward. So what we're talking about here is, another term for this is leading with a reward. Dangle a carrot out in front of a horse, they will go after that carrot. And this is the same thing. So what is it in your life, that you like to do, or is that carrot that you can put in front of, or on the backside of, I guess, not in front of, on the backside of studying. And so when you are done with studying, you get that reward or get that carrot. I would highly suggest it is not cake, okay? Because that will cause other problems, and then you're going to have to figure out a reason to not eat cake. For example, you can use other things that your brain really likes, okay, as a reward. And one of the things our brains like is congruency. That means that you stick with, or you have something that is the same every day, but also other congruency type of things can be like a calendar with all the boxes checked, right? If you're a little bit more OCD, then you'll really like this example. If you're less OCD and you don't give a shit about all the boxes being checked on a calendar, like on your fridge, then you won't care. But I have used this in the past and I put a calendar up every time I study for a certain amount of time. or I got a chapter done, whatever it was, I checked that box of that calendar. It was only a calendar, just print a calendar on a piece of paper, and then check or make an X in that box of that day every day you study. And the more X's that are in that calendar, like the more satisfaction we get, because our brains are like kind of like that. And so you can use that as a reward as well. It doesn't seem very significant, that type of reward. It can be very powerful if you stack a few of these things. If you're like, oh, well, I get up in the morning and I'm looking forward to that coffee, but I can't have that until I show up to the coffee shop with all my books and everything, and I have to lay them all out, read the first paragraph before I get up and order that coffee. That would be something that you're leading with a reward. And as soon as you hit that first paragraph, you can get up and get that coffee. But your brain likes congruency, so you might read the first page, or you might read the first chapter even before you get up and order that coffee. Or you might not, but at least you've started. And another little tip, I'm full of fucking tips today. Another little tip is that once you start something, the brain likes to continue. That is a congruency issue as well. So if you read the first chapter and you go get that coffee, your brain is going to want to continue. Because as long as you start something, and it doesn't have to be something large, you just bite off a little chunk, and then you'll kind of stimulate yourself to go back and do that. I thought that was a pretty good video. I didn't have any story, really significant story for that. I usually like to tell a story that's funny, like where I shit my pants or something like that. I'm just kidding. I haven't told the shit pants story yet. Oh my god. How could I forget? I'll do that in the next video. Alright, you guys. Hey, thanks for watching these. You guys are awesome. Subscribe, share, like, comment, of course. And I'll see you in the next one.